stronger and came into being as one of the largest. Now if you see at the end of the Magadha Empire, now at the end we have the Mauryan Empire. We'll study each of this empire very detailedly, but in this lecture we are just having an overview of the four empires or the four dynasties of the Magadha Empire. Okay, so this is the last empire, that is the Mauryan Empire. Now see, the Mauryan Empire, okay, the orange area is acquired by the Mauryan, okay, especially during the Ashoka. Now these are the places where we are having the major rock edicts of Ashoka, okay, and this is the end. Up till the Mauryan age, what were the regions that were conquered by the Chandragupta, okay, or even after the Ashoka, okay. So Ashoka is also known as Chanda Ashoka, right? So Ashoka was also with the entrepreneur mindset, okay, and that is why you will see that the Ashoka would be establishing his dominance in the overall the complete Indian subcontinent, right from the northwest to the southeast. Okay, see, you might be seeing here the Brahmagiri hills. Okay, this is the southern tip up till where the Ashoka went. Okay, and this is the most important region, the Kalinga region. Okay, and this is only the region where the Ashoka would be called as a Chanda Ashoka in this Kalinga war. Okay, so all these things we would be studying very deeply. Okay, now let's see this four dynasties. Firstly, the Haryanka dynasty. Okay, so before Haryanka dynasty, there are also the evidences of Brihadratha dynasty. Now, this dynasty is also considered as a mythical dynasty in some text, but in some text it is considered that yes, this dynasty existed before the Haryanka dynasty. So, officially we take Haryanka dynasty as the first dynasty of the Magadha Empire, but there is also one dynasty which we need to consider according to the epics of Mahabharata. Okay, now there was the king Brihadratha, on the name of which we call this dynasty as the Brihadratha dynasty. Okay, now after that it was the Haryanka dynasty. Okay, now this Haryanka dynasty was a contemporary to the Buddha. Okay, now this period during the Haryanka dynasty was a period when each and every kingdom would be fighting with each other to evolve as one of the stronger kingdom of that particular time. Okay, and during this time only Buddha chose to leave everything, to leave his palace and kingdom and move towards the jungles. Okay, so this was the same time and period where there was a competition for the land, competition for the revenue holding, competition for each and everything, power and status. Okay, so in this time we see the Haryanka dynasty and the three major rulers which we have just discussed. The first one was the Bimbisara, second was the Ajatashatru, who killed his father Bimbisara and acquired the throne. And after that it was the Udayin. Now Udayin was again killed, okay, by his only governor, that is from the Shishunaga dynasty. Okay, and after that we find the Nanda dynasty, one of the major dynasty during whose we would be seeing that the foreign travelers or the foreign ambassadors would be visiting our Indian subcontinent and telling us the stories of then ancient India. Okay, so many kind of travelers, the Greek, the Persian travelers, okay, they would be discussing each and every story. We'll discuss it through the NCERT chapters. Okay, now the next was the Bimbisara and the Ashoka, which were the major rulers in the Magadha dynasty or the Magadha empire. Okay, so let us dive it further. Okay, now when was the timeline from the king Bimbisara? Okay, the king Bimbisara ruled from 544 to 492 BCE. Now see, we study the later Vedic period from 1000 BCE to 600 BCE, right? And at the end of 600 BCE, okay, we'll find that we will study the emergence of the stronger Mahajanapadas. Now, officially the first is the Haryanka Dynasty, okay, and in Haryanka Dynasty we have the King Bimbisara. Now, the King Bimbisara would be the first king who would be aiming for expansion of his kingdom. And that is why, firstly, he will use his military and the weapons to conquer much more land in the present Bihar, Jharkhand, Bengal land. Okay, so he would be conquering all the fertile lands of that particular area. After that, it was the Ajatashatru, one of the son of the Bimbisara, who killed his father and acquired the throne. Now he would be implementing the aggressive expansion during his period. Okay, now there are two military technologies which he would be encapsulating in his army. Okay, now according to the literary sources, it is Ratamusala and the Mahashilakantaka. Okay, now what is Ratamusala? The same chariot which has the wheel cutter, okay, like in Bahubali you will see, okay, Bahubali movie you will see. Okay, so this is Ratamusala. Okay, this is Ratamusala. Okay, and the next is Mahashilakanta. Okay, so it cuts the throne. Okay, it cuts the neck when it is in the war. Okay, so both of these technologies, military technologies, were developed by the Ajatashatru itself. So by this you can understand he was not just a king, but he was a good ruler also. Okay, beyond this, he would be also concentrating upon the economical policies that should be implemented during this time. And that is why during the aggressive expansion, he would be conquering majorly the riverine states only. Because history is evident that whenever you find the stronger empire evolving, you will find the same empire would be situated at one particular major river. The same case was for the Magadha Empire. Now, even if you see in the present day, okay, even if you see in the present day, let's say USA. Now, why USA is much more developed than the other countries? Because it had the favorable geographical and the political conditions. Okay, now the similar way, the Ajatashatru also concentrated upon the river states. And he conquered firstly the river states, then the other lands. And that is why he was very strongly growing due to the high revenue collections. Okay, so after that it was the Udayin from 460. Okay, so you will find that during the Udayan, that is from 460 to 444 BCE, you will see that the Buddhist ideas would be growing at a higher pace. Why? Because people were very, emotionally or mentally insecure due to these things, due to the wars, due to the losses, due to the poverty, due to the n number of diseases and deaths during this time. And that is why during the Udayin, you will see the patronage of the Buddhism. Why? Because people are opting for the peace. Okay, now this was only the period when you will see that the religion would be becoming more dominant. The lower strata of the society was not allowed to enter into the temples. And that is why Buddha will come into the power or in the status during that time. And the patronage of the Buddha will rise slowly. Okay, and during the Udayin only, you will see that the capital would be shifted to the Pataliputra. Okay, that is the Pataliputra will become the capital of the Magadha Empire. Okay, now here the story begins from the Pataliputra. Now the Pataliputra is somewhat as a main head or the epicenter of the Indian subcontinent during this period. The Pataliputra is the head of the revenue collection. The Pataliputra is the head of the administration. The Pataliputra is the head of the development of new science and technology. And that is why there would be again the competition among n number of players to come and conquer this Pataliputra. And that is why you will see that